So, Dr. Simms, can you explain a little bit about your background and how you got involved in this profession and maybe a little history behind it? Sure. The group that I'm involved with, the Gallaudet Mission, we discussed a misunderstanding dating back to when the schools for the deaf first started to set up bilingual programs. The Indiana School for the Deaf was one of the first institutions to set up a bilingual program, and we called it Bi, meaning both bilingual and bicultural. We have found that their mission statement then is the same as it is now. We've come together to discuss the importance of updating the mission statement to something more current. It's a challenging undertaking, however. Keep in mind that the information that we have is from the 90s. There isn't much information there, but I believe that it's enough to enable us to make a difference. Think about it. When Lauren Clark went to France to learn what he could about the methods used to educate the deaf and brought it back here, we made some adjustments in order for it to meet our needs, and look what happened then. He was faced with fear and resistance, and the teachers were questioning, what does this all mean? Does that mean we have to change what we're doing? Don't misunderstand, we've had our battles, but we've pushed through them. We should all be proud of the Indiana School for the Deaf for standing their ground, and now they're beginning to grow. The preschool has 70 students. The preschool! And more than that on the waiting list. This is a definite demonstration of progress through determination and perseverance. They have programs, curricula, and they continue to make progress. So when I look back at the struggles that came with the introduction of ASL as a language, I see the same struggle today with the word bilingual. The way people act, the misunderstandings, the fear, it's the same today as it was in the 90s. The words may be different, but the conflict and the panic, it's all the same. So 1990 to 2007, that's about 17 years, right? Okay, so the fall of 2007, a new group of freshmen are starting at Gallaudet with a new mission statement. Do you mind explaining this vibe of fear here on campus as it relates to ASL and English? What is this fear coming from? I look around and I've noticed this fear. However, the basis of this fear is ignorance. Not ignorance in the sense of being dumb or stupid, but simply not being aware, not having the information or knowledge. Ignorance manifests itself in many different ways, such as fear, resistance, and conflicts. And where these are the reactions that we're seeing, it's all based on ignorance. You know, we understand ASL, but do you realize that deaf people all over know English more than we know ASL? I mean, we grew up learning English just like everyone else through reading and studying the rules of English and writing. It was hard and challenging, but we know it. And when we go off to college, it's clear that we know and understand English. Now, ASL, on the other hand, I personally, growing up, I never studied ASL. And maybe 10% of deaf people have taken ASL, or maybe even less. Sure, we know how to sign and communicate in ASL. We've done it all our lives. But do we really know ASL? And when we discuss this is what causes misunderstandings within the deaf community. Now, hearing people, on the other hand, are taking ASL classes and now know more ASL than deaf people do. Let me give you an example. Today, while I was at work, I was reading the Daily Digest when I came across an advertisement for a hearing ASL camp. I was taken aback by the word hearing. Basically, what the ad is saying was this camp is specifically for hearing people so that they can come and improve their ASL skills, to learn about deaf culture. But the advertisement said nothing about deaf people, or whether or not they were invited. The lack of information and exposure, that lack of information and exposure to ASL in the deaf community is what causes fear. So now we have ASL over here, we have English over here, and bilingual over here, and it's like, where does ASL fit? All of this is what causes all of the confusion, and again, what underlies all of this confusion is ignorance.